Arsenal have beaten Crystal Palace 8-7 on penalties and are now through to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup, where we'll face Chelsea over 2 legs. We're going to look back at the game and all of the talking points. Then we're going to preview our game this weekend as Brighton visit us at the Emirates. The pressure is on, but we're still top of the table. Can we beat this Brighton side to stay top ahead of our rivals? We're then going to make our predictions for this weekend as we're joined by a special guest on the next episode of Red Lines and Half Spaces. Welcome to episode 34 of Red Lines Half Spaces. Games are coming thick and fast. Christmas is over. We're recording on Boxing Day. And man, my stomach can't take anymore. It has been heavy times. Been to my mum's place and the food there was magical. Today we had a Chinese feast, which my mum does because she likes to do something, just a little something different on Boxing Day. And my God, wee. And then I went to my friend's house who gave me some roast leftovers. Crazy. But we're here to cover the football. We'll look back at the Crystal Palace game and look forward to the Brighton game. But Joe is AWOL again. This happens quite regularly now. Joe just goes AWOL when he feels like it. No, I'm joking. Joe is very much busy with the little one and the partner, and then obviously family commitments. But I have my excellent friend Wayne joining me. Wayne, how's your Christmas been?
Ruined. You've got me working on Boxing Day. Even my employer can't get me.
Well, I called you up and said, look, we got problems. Can you circle back here? Can we sync up on this and maybe take this offline and maybe we'll just do a filming?
Let's review that in the new year.
Take that offline, park it for the new year.
But I wish... listen, I'll be surprised if I don't get through this recording slurring some words because I'm shattered. I'm in multiple food comas. I am currently, obviously Boxing Day, currently in the process of just finishing celebrating my 4th Christmas.
4 Christmases, that's bad.
You have the one with work where you go out for like either drinks or a meal, whatever. That was early in December. On the 22nd, we done ours at home. So like me and my partner, my 3-year-old daughter, we got her a Christmas Eve box, but we let her open it on that day. And that's just nice. Like little Christmassy stuff. Her Christmas pajamas, things like that, little candy canes. Christmas Eve, we go to my mum. So it's me, my mum, my sister, my daughter, and my partner. Do Christmas all there. And Christmas Day, we do it all at my partner's house. So Boxing Day was literally all about leftovers, which I've had too many portions of already, but there's another portion waiting for me.
That's during the game. That's for during the game, isn't it? So as we record, everyone, as we record, it's going to be about half an hour to the Man United game. This is why Wayne's like, timing is everything, and obviously he's going to be eating that while watching the game.
Of course, and what I do for the final one is always make a beautiful sandwich. It's not the same Christmas dinner, but I'll put some of the turkey, some of the ham,
sandwich. Yeah,
some of the meats, all in a sandwich, some gravy in there, some stuffing in there.
Love it. I love that idea. Sandwich is the way.
But yeah, shame. Obviously, Joe can't be here. I'm here as the fill-in for now, but my stomach is regretting it.
Maybe the talking will help you. So let's dive into this. So no slides today, unfortunately, because again, like Wayne, I cannot focus on actually putting slides together. My brain has literally gone dormant throughout this period. But Wayne, last time out, it was a win for Arsenal. Quite difficult because it was a fairly rotated team. We'll talk about that. But we are through to the Carabao Cup semi-final. This is your tournament. This is literally
damn right.
This is Wayne's tournament. I call this the Carabobbins because I've made it very clear. This is not my priority. But for my man Wayne here, this is his pièce de résistance. This is where he excels. So Wayne, take this away. 8-7. We're through to the semi-final. How are you feeling about this one? 2 legs against Chelsea. Obviously, Chelsea view this as their final because this is how they view every game with Arsenal. They won against us earlier in the season, obviously, and this is their level, isn't it? This is where they want to be.
Don't say it like that. Don't say this is their level because this is our level.
Semi-final.
No, respect it. Listen, for anyone obviously that doesn't follow me, doesn't know me, hasn't heard me talk about this competition, I want us to win everything. Obviously, the Premier League and the Champions League are the top. I'd love us to win them. And if you asked me at the start of the season, if I could only choose one trophy for Arsenal to win, I'd probably choose the Champions League first because we've not won it, and then I'd go to the Premier League. But the reality of the situation is we as a club haven't won anything for 6.5 years. This squad, this newly built squad under Arteta, I won't even say newly built because I'm not only talking about this season, but the core group, the Sakas, the Salibas, the Gabriels, now Declan Rice, they've not won anything together. Arteta hasn't proved that he can win and get the trophies over the line. So I put a lot of importance on the Carabao Cup because when you look back through it, apart from Newcastle last year, and they've even got a bit of an asterisk next to their name because they qualified for the Champions League. Before that, the last 10 to 12 years was won by a big 6 club. Usually Manchester City, often Chelsea, Man United won a couple. And it was, forget even big City, like a big 4 club because Spurs weren't winning it. Like Liverpool won a couple as well, a big 5 club. It was never us. And if you look again back through history, it was Pep's first trophy, I believe, in England. It was Mourinho's first trophy in England. It was Pellegrini potentially first trophy in England, even potentially Mancini at Man City. Big clubs take all trophies seriously, and I'm of the belief that if we got this one early, psychologically the boost will just send us on a rocket. And I honestly believe once we get our first trophy, it doesn't have to be the Carabao. Again, I'd love it to be the Carabao because it's the first opportunity to do so. But once this group wins their first trophy together, it's a dynasty. It's dynasty time. We'll get over that hump. We'll psychologically know how to get over the line and win a trophy, which this group haven't done yet. And we'll go on and win everything. That's my true belief. So the fact that we've made it through, to me, is absolutely brilliant. And the semi-final against Chelsea, it could have been a lot worse. We're not travelling up to Manchester for 2 legs. We're not travelling up to Newcastle for 2 legs, which would have been awful. We're staying in London. It's in a relatively decent schedule in our calendar. And if you look around, all of the other competitors are in the exact same situation because they're all Champions League clubs. So we're playing the same amount of football as our title rivals, Manchester City. We're playing the same amount of football as our Carabao rivals, if you want to call it that, Chelsea. So we're in a really good position. And I think the positive thing really is that there was no extra time in this game. I think everyone would have been fuming if there was extra time. I know it went to penalties. We obviously won them. The penalty shootout was top quality. But I'm super happy that we're in the semi-finals and I want us to go and win it.
No, fair enough. I mean, look, I totally get that we need to get over that hump about the first trophy and we need to get through it. I guess it's going to come down to how our squad is, what shape it's in at that point when we get to the Chelsea game. Because I'm hoping and I'm praying that we can actually get, some level of fitness where we can keep players from dropping like flies. The news today is obviously that Kai Havertz, and we'll talk about that, Kai Havertz is near fitness. Gabriel is not so far away. But obviously, we need to keep players fit before those games because then we can rotate a bit better. But Wayne, to that point about rotation, let's talk about the lineup. So Arsenal lined up with Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal. Yeambele Timber continues at right back because we don't really have any spare right backs. Miles Lewis-Skelly comes in at left back. Saliba and Calafiori occupying the centre of defence. Norgard, Eze and Mourinho who captained the side. Jesus started up front, which was interesting. I'm going to get your take on him. Madueke and Martinelli. How did you view the rotation? Because I think he rotated as much as he could, didn't he, really? I was pretty pleased with how he did it. There's not much scope in the defence. We know that already. And I do worry about Yeambele Timber's fitness in general because there's again, we've done this before. We've got this history of this, that we ran him into the ground and, come the end of the season, he pulled up with a massive hamstring injury. So obviously, let's talk about the defensive rotation or lack thereof. but then the team is in general, Wayne. How did you view that?
I think it was the right amount of rotation, and I think so. Excuse me. The only one disappointing factor is no minutes for Wanyeri again, and I think everyone could kind of see there that there's a little bit of disappointment with that. But the reality is, where's he going to play? I know that we brought on the big hitters towards the end of the game, but I think we were always going to do that, even if we were 3-0 up. Arteta seems to like these players having 5, 10, 15 minutes in their legs, whether it's for physical reasons, whether it's for training reasons, whatever it might be. Arteta seems to like to do that. He's always done it. So I think the fact that he didn't start with Declan Rice, didn't start with Zubimendi, didn't start with Saka, didn't start with Trossard, didn't start with Odegaard, I think that's a real positive. And the fact that we were comfortable for the majority of the game against, I would say, Crystal Palace's best side. There was a couple of injuries. Kamada is obviously a key player for them and has been missing through injury recently. The fact that we were comfortable in that first half in particular, I thought we were really, really good. And we need all of these players ready, engaged to be called upon. So Madueke getting a good amount of minutes, Martinelli getting a good amount of minutes. Martinelli was fantastic. But it was one of his best performances. Jesus playing, you mentioned him there, and he had to start at some point. He's been ramping up his minutes. He came on for sort of 10 minutes. He came on for 15, 20, whatever it is. So good for him to start, and I thought he looked comfortable. But the real standout for me, and I hope we see him a little bit more now. Maybe Arteta maybe trusts him a little bit. I thought the real standout for me was Norgard. I thought it was an impressive performance. Didn't do anything flashy. Didn't do anything excessive, but was very impressive with everything he'd done. And hopefully that means he can come on for half an hour here, give Zubimendi a rest, 20 minutes there. Even he played at centre back for us in the Champions League. Give Saliba a rest at centre back, and hopefully Arteta maybe trust him a little bit more. So no, I was glad with the amount of rotation. Saliba starting. I'm not really concerned with. Obviously, he missed about a month through injury anyway, so he doesn't have as many minutes in the legs. And Timber, yes, it's a concern, but we've got a couple of games where he doesn't have to play anything. Hopefully, even if Ben White's not back. Obviously, the Inter Milan game, I imagine he can get some rest there because we're pretty much qualified. And then the final game against Kairat, I think it is at home in the Champions League, he doesn't really have to play there. Portsmouth, I'm hoping he doesn't play there. So there'll be the opportunity to rest Timber. And there'll be the opportunity to look after his legs. I just think that we've kind of got to let these players be a little bit. I know we've got PTSD from previous years, but these players want to play. So I think we just kind of have to let it go.
No, I agree. I think there is an opportunity to rest him, but I think the games in the Premier League he has to play because it's too important now, given the way the league is panning out. And I thought, as you said, Norgard had a really good game, really solid. And I hope the trust is there because I don't think Norgard's let us down at all. I don't think he's had a bad game. He's not anything special, but he's solid, and that's what you kind of need. And, it allowed Zubimendi Rice to get a bit of rest, which is what they need as well. We can see that they're running, they're not at their full tilt, especially Zubimendi. I think Zubimendi's load is being heavily managed. I thought Martinelli was excellent, probably his best game in terms of just beating his man repeatedly and repeatedly. Martinelli, again, I keep coming back to the point, he's not a winger, he's an inside forward. But he's also, when he's confident and when he's zoned in, he can beat his man quite easily. I think it's just a lack of confidence sometimes that when he gets one avenue closed off, he completely loses hope and then keeps going down the same route. But when he feels it, and it's kind of like the same kind of thing with a lot of wingers, that they have to run on instinct a little bit rather than overthinking it. And I thought Martinelli was just cooking the right back Canvo the whole time, and I loved it.
I think someone put it best on Twitter when they said Martinelli remembered he's Brazilian again. That's exactly what it looked like. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, exactly. When Martinelli's in full flight and when he does take on his man, he can cause some problems. And the only shame about this first half, as you said, Wayne, was we played really well, but we didn't get any output again. And this is a concern that I want to address just further on in the show. But second half comes along, Palace do improve as you'd expect them to. But we do get the goal. Saka, the big hitters do have to come on. And unfortunately, that's not the most ideal situation. But Arteta likes to do this. And obviously we get the goal through kind of a Saka, Lacroix own goal scenario, but it's listed as an own goal. Wayne, how did you view the goal itself? Was it, we warranted it, but we made hard work, as we have done for the last couple of weeks, in terms of getting the ball in the net, isn't it?
Yeah, in that first half, we should have been 2 or 3
Yeah.
clear, like for sure. We created ample opportunities to score goals. I don't know how we didn't at least score one. Second half, Palace made changes obviously at half time, and they were greatly improved. They were tough for us to play through, but we still had chances and we still had opportunities to score. But look, set piece again, lay. It doesn't matter whether we score from open goal. It doesn't matter whether we score from set pieces. We're kind of inevitable that at some point we're going to score, which is a real brilliant problem for us to have, because you kind of trust that at some point we will break the door down. I'm not too concerned by it. Like, it feels like every December or every winter we kind of go through this phase under Arteta, and I don't know whether it's because of the minutes in the legs, or I don't know whether it's because of just the kind of players that we have. I think a lot of it is down to the kind of players that we have. We don't have the most clinical of attackers, and the attackers of quality aren't really stand out in our team apart from Saka. But I think this has just been an ongoing thing under Arteta. Excuse me. And I think that a lot of Arsenal fans always kind of look to Dubai. The Dubai, let's get knocked out of the Carabao. Let's get knocked out of the FA Cup and we'll go to Dubai and it will change everything. And normally it does. Obviously, last year it didn't because of the injuries. But hopefully hopefully we're not going to. I don't want to go to Dubai this year. I want to be in the FA Cup. I want to be in the Carabao Cup. So yeah, like you said, hopefully we don't need to. And I'm sure that when the football kind of eases a little bit and there's maybe not a game every 3 days, every 2 days, we'll start seeing it firing again. And normally, again, a trend under Arteta, second half of the season, usually we tend to get a little bit better. So yeah, hopefully again that's the case this year.
I also think the disruption hasn't helped. Every week has been a chop and a change because of injuries. So, the defense has not been. I don't think our defense has been, comfortable for a while, because obviously Gabriel's been out. Then you've got Mosquera out. Then you've got Timber out. Calafiore's been out. It's been heavily rotated. I think generally the season has been a heavy rotation. I don't think we've actually had a settled team, have we, Wayne? In terms of one that you could say every week is going to play, because Erdegaard was out. Then it was Eze. Then it was, Gyökeres is out. So Marino goes up front. Where I don't think we've actually had a settled side, which is actually a good indicator that we've got a team that can get through these periods. It's worrying in terms of injury, but we already know that. But given the heavy rotation, given the problems that we've had in terms of depth, yeah, I agree with you. I think it's been a tough road. We're not perfect. We are disjointed. But that's kind of understandable given where we are in our comfortableness with the team. We just need that period where we can actually put the same team out consistently.
Yeah. And I agree with you there. Obviously, the injuries are not ideal, but I'm a big fan of never having the same team anyway, because we've seen under Arteta previously that Zinchenko will play in November, and then we won't see him again until the middle of January when it's the FA Cup third round, and then we'll get knocked out of the FA Cup third round. And I'm just using Zinchenko as an example here. And then we won't see Zinchenko until we absolutely have to play him in the middle of April. And that's not optimal for any footballer. If you know you're never going to play, and you know that you're only going to play when like 3 or 4 players are injured before you, you're never going to be up for it. You're always going to be rusty. You're never going to be match fit. And you're not going to be used to the intensity that the Premier League brings. So yeah, I don't want, and I'm not happy obviously with the amount of injuries and the key players that we've lost. Like I'd love a full squad, but I love not knowing who's going to play on a week by week basis. I love not knowing which one of our, you obviously have Saka who's going to start every game, Saliba who we think is going to start every game, but this year he's missed games through rest and rotation. So I love it. And I think that is the best way really for us to keep everyone engaged. You want to keep everyone engaged so that if Saka's having a bad game, Madueke's coming on against Bayern Munich and making the difference, and then you can start the next game and continue that trend on. See, I just think we need to get used to it, because we've got the biggest squad, I think, in the Premier League, like of quality anyway.
Yeah.
And I think we need to use it a lot more than we have done.
Yeah, I agree. I think keeping legs warm, as Arteta's called it, is the key thing. But then we get ahead and we think up until the 95th minute, we're all good. But then Arsenal being Arsenal, we let one in right at the death with Mark Gahey getting the goal. I mean, this is atypical Arsenal, isn't it? In terms of we shoot ourselves in the foot, and it's It should never have happened, shouldn't it? Should it, Wayne? Really?
No, it was such. First, I was so annoyed giving away the free kick in that position.
Yeah,
Anyway, it was like a tired foul. It just wasn't necessary. Just don't give them the free kick. It was just poor. It was just disappointing. The goal we can't really do much about. Like it's just a well worked set piece
yeah.
from Crystal Palace. Like it's a great finish from Gahey. Obviously, been a lot of talk about the celebration after the game, which I didn't really quite understand. He looked livid that he scored. Maybe he was unhappy about the Carabao. He calls it the Carabao bins as well. But no, it was just disappointing. And the fact that it was what their first shot on target, their only shot on target, like that's typical Arsenal, really.
Yeah, it's very typical. Low XG, I think last year
Ugh.
we had the lowest XG leading to goals, didn't we? And it just kind of repeats itself. But again, we then go to penalties, as you said. There is no extra time in the Carabao Cup. Really well taken penalties, and that's kind of been a forte of Arsenal's for the last couple of years, that we work psychologically on it. You can tell the players actually don't rush it. Generally, they stop, they think, then they go for it, don't they? And it's great that we can have this kind of comfort in the penalty takers, because before, for years, Wayne, I was never 100% with our penalty takers. It was
Oh,
always
I'm still not. I'm still not.
but
It was awful. It was an awful feeling.
I know, but strange enough, our biggest penalty taker, the one who, even Mikel Arteta, says is the best penalty taker he's seen, Victor Gyökeres, was not on the field, obviously.
Oh,
So
of course. I think a lot of fans were also surprised that we didn't bring him on.
I'm surprised as well. But
take on.
I guess, Everton showed his penalty taking is probably one of the world's best. He's that level, like with Harry Kane, etc., that he has no fear about where he's going to go. But very surprising that we didn't bring him on. But we won the penalty shootout, as you said. Chelsea await. I think over 2 legs, I think we can be confident, can't we, Wayne?
Yeah, absolutely. I hope we beat them 1-1 on aggregate.
That's a win for them, isn't it? That's
No away goals. We win 1-1 on aggregate and we go through. That's what the Chelsea rules are, aren't they? Let's apply them rules to us. But no, I like I said, semi-finals, the quality is going to be quality, unless you get like the 4 championship sides randomly in there and or 3 championship sides in there and us. And I would love that. Like that's my dream. My dream FA Cup run is once we beat Portsmouth, I hope we get like Wrexham. And once we beat Wrexham, I hope we get like Peterborough. And once we beat Peterborough, I hope we get like Birmingham or something. That is my dream cup run.
Because it's like that easy one, isn't it? That you're like,
yeah. The year we won it.
You mean the Man City? You mean the Man City run that Man City always gives?
Give us our run when we had Lincoln and Sutton and that all the way.
We never get that, do we? We always get it the hard way, don't we?
I was surprised we got Portsmouth.
I know, so was I. But it's not home, obviously. It's away. It's away, isn't it? So it's not
and
that.
That's heritage. That's a heritage.
That's a heritage one.
But no, I think over 2 legs, obviously, we'll be the favourites. It's a semi-final. Chelsea have the history in this competition, and even recently of the 2 clubs, they've been probably to more finals than we have in recent years. They kind of know how to get over
the Conference League is not a final.
It doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter. You got to get over those hurdles, and
it's like Dross versus Dross. It's Dross versus Dross.
They've done it in the Club World Cup.
The Club World Cup is a friendly tournament. Again, I am not going to legislate that being an actual tournament.
Fair enough. But look, we've not even been we were obviously in the semi-final last year, and we got kind of beaten well and easily by Newcastle in the end. So hopefully it's not the case here, and we could go one step further. And if we do get to Wembley, you are not invited.
Oh, Wayne, I am. Look,
you're not. Nah, you and your mate, you're not coming. I'm not having it. I'm not having it. All you fair weather Arsenal fans that don't show up for a Carabao. We'll have 2 home games. None of you show up, and then you want tickets to the final just because you're a season ticket holder. You make me sick, You make me sick.
I do, but I will be there. And you're going to be with me as well because you can't handle it.
No, I'm not talking to you the whole day.
You are. You're going to be lining up with me. I know you are. So, but yeah, look, we look forward to the game against Chelsea. But one question that you did raise, and I actually want to talk to you just briefly about this, Ethan Nwaneri. What's going on with him? Because Arteta does not seem to have the trust in him. And there is a line around this in that I think it was Henry Wheater or someone else put this out. When Nwaneri was on the field, Mikel Arteta, this was during a transition where the opposition was trying to break on us. And he was begging Nwaneri to keep tracking back. And he doesn't do it. I think there is a point now where he's literally said, you have to show me that you can do the basic, the role that we ask you to, because Martin Odegaard, Eze, they all have to track back. It's not an option. You have to be able to track and press. And look, Wanyeri is 17 years old, and he has to learn. But do you think there's a point at which we have to say, look, it's either he'll have to get a loan, ideally a loan, because you don't want to sell a talent like that, or we consider selling him, because I don't think he'll be happy staying on the bench for the rest of the season like this, will he?
He probably won't, but it depends what he wants for his career, because at the end of the day, there's no guarantee that a loan will go well. There's no guarantee that a loan will translate to Arsenal. There's no guarantee that a loan will be successful wherever he goes. And I think he's a top quality player. I think the main issue is this is his first year really as our. We don't even play with a 10. He is probably a natural 10. You want him to be the number 10. And when we signed Madueke, I was a bit disappointed at the time with that signing because I really thought Wanyeri should be the right winger. I thought he was so good last season as a right winger. I thought him being the Saka backup, Saka rotation made complete sense. It meant him guaranteed minutes there when Saka was injured, Saka was rested. It meant that he could play right wing sometimes, and you'd see Saka play left wing sometimes. And when we signed Madueke, my first thought was, okay, that's going to impact Wanyeri's minutes. He's exclusively been used this year centrally as that right centre mid. And again, we don't use a 10. So until he adapts and becomes a central midfielder, he's not going to play. And that's just the reality of the situation. If that involves tracking back, if it involves pressing, because we always press with our Odegaard, our Eze, our Ranieri, with our striker, we go into like a 4-4-2, a 4-2-4, and they're always there. But if Ranieri it isn't showing that in training, isn't showing that in games, then of course he's not going to play. He could be as talented as you want to. You need the application. And if he goes on loan, say to a team that plays a back five, he's not going to be playing as a 10 there. So what does that benefit us? I think, yes, I want him to get more minutes. And I think that games like this should really be where he gets more minutes. He should, hopefully, start both the Champions League games left, and he should hopefully start the Portsmouth game. I'm hoping. But if he doesn't, I'm inclined to keep him because I think he's going to learn more with us in training in what we need for a central midfielder. Now, if he doesn't want that, I'm not going to begrudge him, but I think we should be looking to sell, not loan. Because if we loan him, and we haven't had much success with loans over history, especially with young key players, if we loan him and it doesn't go well, then kind of where does it end? Where does it go from there? So I hope he stays. I hope he gets minutes. I hope this is just kind of an irrelevant conversation, but he has to do more. Like he's not being selected just because Arteta doesn't like him. Arteta used him more than most players last year, and he's done similar with Lewis Skelly to start this season, with him working with Heinz there on crossing and being like a traditional left back. So yeah, Ranieri has to do more in training and show that he's capable of being our central player because he's not going to play as a 10 here right now under Arteta.
Also, as well, there's more competition in that. Eze is also trusted there when Odegaard's out. And there's a debate. I had a debate with Joe last time about Eze actually, for me at the moment, has more output in that position because he's delivered more goals and more moments. So there's competition, which is something he's going to have to get used to. This is the Premier League. Calafiori's got, and Lewis Skelly have got exactly the same thing. So yeah, I absolutely agree. I hope Ethan Wanyeri rises to the challenge because that's what we want. You want players who are above and beyond what they can do. But Wayne, this weekend, Premier League action returns. Finally, after a while, we have Brighton Hove Albion visiting the Emirates. Last season, I think we can all say, was a farce in that we saw the stupidest red card that we'll never see again. Really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that led to a 1-1 draw, which it never should have been. We should have been far and away.
Even with 10 men, we should have won.
Yeah, we should have won. But with 11 men, we would have battered them off the park, I think, given how we performed. But then, obviously, the PGMOL has to PGMOL and try and, ensure that we lose the game. And last season, obviously, we had, Declan Rice sent off for a little touch. Coming into this game, Wayne, if I look at the injuries quickly for Brighton, they've got a couple of players out. Adam Webster, Carlos Baleba is at the African Cup of Nations. Solly March is out. Van Hecke has got an illness, may make it. Mats Wiefer has got a late fitness test. Lewis Dunk is suspended. Danny Welbeck probably will make it, but he's had a lower back injury, and Danny Welbeck is a key player for them. How do you assess Brighton at the moment? Their form is kind of up and down, isn't it? They're 10th in the league, I think, and they're a bit up and down. But how do you assess them as they, before this game?
Well, I got told an interesting fact by my good friend, our good friend Met recently, and I don't know whether it's good or bad for us, but apparently no Brighton manager has ever won a game in December in the Premier League.
Oh.
I know, it's crazy. So I think that it just kind of goes to show that is the kind of squad size that they have, the kind of players that they have. They probably get that inconsistency during this period of the season because there is that build up of fixtures, because it's every sort of 3 days and they're not necessarily used to it. Obviously, last year they had Europe, and
they struggled, didn't they? They struggled there as well, didn't they?
Yeah. So I think that not having the biggest squad probably doesn't help, and at time when players are inconsistent, they can't kind of rotate players in and out to get over it. But I think that with them and their inconsistency, it still kind of feels a bit weird playing Brighton at home. Like, De Zerbi's beat us, Potter's beat us, the 1-1 draw last year. Like, you're always kind of scared against Brighton a little bit as a bogey side for Arsenal. But no, I think that this should be a game that we go in confident. A lot of our starters had a key rest, and I think that at home over the festive period is much better than playing away. I think didn't we play them around the festive period last year and the new year last year, and that's when that stupid penalty happened.
Yeah, the away,
Pedro away from home. So obviously at home I back us. And this is another opportunity to gain points on a game that last year we didn't get 3 points. It'll be another +2, and that's all important. And it'll be interesting to see how we react, because obviously Manchester City are playing first away at Nottingham Forest. We all expect them to win and win comfortably. No disrespect to Forest or Sean Dyche. We would love for them to do us a favour, but no one's holding their breath. It'll be interesting, obviously, Man City go back to the top if they win, how we bounce back. And if we play like we did against Palace, I think we'll be fine. Obviously, our finishing needs to improve. But I just need to see us continually create the level of chances that we have been recently.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the key, that if we're creating chances, we would like to see some finishing, but we're creating at least, that we're creating opportunities. If we didn't, then I'd have a problem. If we went to the horseshoe, which has happened this season, Everton wasn't a great game in terms of there was horseshoeing, but it wasn't as bad as what it could be. But at home, fully, a rested squad, you'd expect better in terms of what we can deliver. So we're looking forward to that. But let's get into the predictions, because we're coming up on our time. As we record this, it is just before the Man United game. Man United versus Newcastle. So I'm going to start with that game, and then we'll go there. Joe has not set his predictions because Joe's obviously in the mud at the moment. So, Wayne, Man United, Newcastle, give me your prediction.
I'm going 1-1.
I'm going
Newcastle aren't that good away from home. Man United aren't very good in general. 1-1.
Yeah, I'm going 1-1 as well. I just think that it's got the element of Man United will score first, although they haven't got Bruno Fernandes, which is a massive loss for them. But I think Newcastle are struggling a little bit at the moment, and they're down in 10th, 11th, 12th, and they're struggling a little bit. Forest City on Saturday. What have you got for me?
Oh, City are going to win that like 3-0.
Erling Haaland hat-trick. I keep predicting a hat-trick, and it never happens.
No, he'll probably get one because everyone will triple captain him in their FPL. No, he'll probably get one. Foden will get one, and Turkey will get one, and everyone will keep slurping over him. So yeah, I'm going 3-0 City.
And they're adding Semenyo as well, by all accounts, to this.
If you spend 150 million and it goes wrong last January, just spend another 100.
That's all that City can do. Isn't it? Oh, look, we've got a new sponsor. We've got a brand new sponsor. They just magically appeared right now. It's amazing. Arsenal Brighton. What have you got for me?
Hey, what was yours for Man City?
Oh, sorry. I think City are going to win this. I think it's going to be a 2-0 to City.
Okay.
Arsenal Brighton, sorry.
I think we win 3-1.
I'm going to go for a clean sheet in this one. I know it's bad. History does not lend itself to this. I'm going for a 2-0 Arsenal. I think we can be confident.
I'd love that. 2-0 and some early subs.
Yeah, exactly. Get rest players, and I'm going to make a bold prediction. I think Victor Gyökeres will score tomorrow.
Victor Gyökeres will hardly touch the ball tomorrow.
Yes, but he'll score a goal.
Okay.
Brentford Bournemouth. Interesting one. They're very much kind of in that same boat, aren't they, at the moment?
Yeah. No, Semenyo not going to AFCON is big for Bournemouth.
Yeah. But
because
he's not there. His head's gone
yeah.
already. His head's gone.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if he plays. Actually,
I don't think he will. If he doesn't, that's the biggest indicator, isn't it? Because the window opens a couple of days later.
Bournemouth have been disappointing this year in comparison to last year. I've got it as a draw. I've got it as a 2-2 draw.
I've gone with that as well, and I think Semenyo, ever since that news came out about his clause and the noise started to ramp up, he's lost form, hasn't he? He's dropped so much.
Well, he scored a really good goal last weekend.
But he's not been the same. He's not been, at the start of the season, he was absolutely destroying teams, wasn't he? And then it's just dropped off. I think the squad has dropped off as well. They started really well and they've dropped off. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the news about Semenyo is. Apparently, and again, we don't know, but obviously he's an Arsenal fan. But if it'd been in the summer, I think we would have been in the conversation. I think the finances and the UEFA FFP do not work out for us in this window.
I think. Listen, look at our squad. There's no room for Semenyo right now.
Look at City's squad. There's no room there, but somehow they'll make the room.
They don't care. They're above the law.
Yeah. Burnley Everton. Oh my God, this game is going to be on Ball City.
Everton win comfortably. Burnley are in big trouble. Burnley and Wolves, I think both their bags are packed.
Next one, Liverpool, Wolverhampton. Wolves are on 2 points. I couldn't believe this in the last. Are they on course to be the worst Premier League team to be relegated with the lowest points total?
I think they'll get the lowest points total. They're very, very bad. They're very bad. Somehow they turned again into prime Brazil against us. But
and Tottenham as well. My God, they do it.
Yeah, of course. But
they should have won that game.
Tottenham are given 50% of their points this year. No, Liverpool. As much as it would be hilarious for Wolves to get a point at Anfield, Liverpool are going to win that comfortably.
Yeah.
I think Liverpool are going to be. It's sad to say because obviously Isak is a top quality player. Now that there's no cloud over who's going to be the striker, who's going to be starting, Salah's obviously at AFCON. I think that Liverpool go on a bit of a run.
Yeah, because Ekitike has been a fabulous player, and I think, again, it's just made it clearer who is the striker now. West Ham, Fulham.
That's a draw
sorry,
for me.
I didn't give my prediction. I think it's going to be a 3-0 to Liverpool.
Okay.
West Ham, Fulham. Sorry,
I've got that as a draw.
I've got it as a Fulham win. I think West Ham they're skirting it as well. They're not doing very well as well. And then Fulkrug's gone as well. They're trying to get Strand Larsen. That's like buying rubbish at one end and selling rubbish at one end and buying rubbish at another end. And
it's younger rubbish.
It is younger rubbish. Honestly, I don't know who decided which scout. It's that the Stedden. Stedden, their sporting director. Yeah, he's done an awful job. I think. I cannot see how the fans don't call for his head because he's been nigh on awful with his signings.
Yeah, but if you're Strand Larsen, they turned down 60 million for you from Newcastle. What was he doing not forcing his way out? What was Wolves doing saying no to
that? They thought they'd actually survive the Premier League. Now it looks like they're just going to drop like a stone.
Any players from Wolves that we can sign?
Do we want to impinge our form? No. Honestly, the Wolves side is. I reckon that they'll drop down another league as well. I think
a bit like Luton.
Yeah, because I think Fosun, who are the owners of Wolves, I think you can tell they've pulled their investment back quite a bit. It's not the same as what it was. Chelsea Villa, tasty game. This one is an interesting one, isn't it?
You think I'm going against Uncle?
I know you love it, don't you? You love what he's
Uncle
doing.
Unai. I love Uncle Unai. He's at the perfect club for his level. I know that there'll always be the talk of he wasn't given enough chance at Arsenal, and that's just not true. Arsenal are too big for him. Let's just call a spade a spade. That level of club are too big for him. But Aston Villa are absolutely perfect. I love what he's doing. I don't realistically think they're in a title race, but I absolutely love what he's doing at Villa, and I hope he gets them in the Champions League.
So what are you going for?
A Villa win.
Ooh, interesting. I think it's going to be a draw. But I think Unai's doing bits. You can't argue that. They've got the best form in the league at the moment.
He's better than Arteta.
Oh yeah, it is. There's the stats don't lie, but
I'm talking about in general, man. What do you mean?
they're you and your Unai agenda, mate. Leeds Sunderland on the Sunday.
Unfortunately, it's Sunderland are at home, right?
Yeah, they're going to win.
Sunderland win.
I'm going to go with the Sunderland win as well, 1-0, I think. Palace Spurs. Oof, this is away, so that means Spurs will win, isn't it?
I don't know.
Palace are
Palace
having a
are a
hard,
good.
but they're having a
Palace
hard
are a
time.
good side. The thing that's making me lean a bit towards Spurs is the news that came out recently about Glasner.
Yeah, that's a
That
big
he's
one.
no intention of signing a new deal, that he's probably leaving. Like, why would you do like? I don't mind him leaving, but why is that news coming out in the middle of December? That's just going to ruffle everyone's feathers, and I think that's a bit disappointing from the journalists involved. You probably know who it is. He always wants to be number one with the exclusives. But now I'm going to go Palace on this one. I like Glasner as a coach. I think he's a top quality coach, and I think that Spurs are not very good.
I agree Spurs are not very good, and they've got problems because obviously Romero's out and Xavi Simons is out because they can't function, use their brains properly in a game. Romero especially. Um, I, but I think they'll have enough because I think Palace looked dead almost in our game towards the end. I think they just lucked into a set piece and got what they can. But I'm going to go with a Spurs 2-1 win. I don't like it, but that's where we are. Wayne, it's a pleasure to thank you so much on your Boxing Day post meal.
Thanks for getting me out of bed and showered and dressed.
I try. Look, I'm here to help you, my friend, to motivate. And look, you're going to get your sandwich now during the football.
You made me a better person this Boxing Day because I'm clean,
Exactly. Hygiene, my friend. That's what it is. But no, thank you to everyone who's listened to us on this episode. We hope you had a really good Christmas. We're looking forward to, obviously, the new year coming. We still got a game. We still got one more game before the new year, which is amazing. Yeah. I love it. Now
against Uncle Una.
Yes, because we can beat him. We can get some revenge finally for that shambolic performance. But yeah, we'll cover that in the next episode. But Wayne, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who's listening. If you do like the content, please consider subscribing to us on YouTube, on Spotify. Please do get in the comments. We love it. But for now, thank you very much. And we'll catch you on the next one of Red Lines and Half Spaces. Bye for now.